Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It's 27th of March, 2024. It's 9 p.m. here in Ireland. It's time for our spiritual light. 10 p.m. in France and 4 p.m. in the east coast of the US. So glad to be here. Our topic today is: do guardian angels exist to protect us? So what's the role of the guardian angels? Do they exist? What's what's the outcome? What do we need to do? What you need to learn about it? So, good evening, Ms. Gibbons. How are you, my dear?
Oh, good evening, Stevan. Good evening, Charles. Good evening, everyone that's with us today. And it's always wonderful to be here with you. And today we're going to talk about a subject that usually people don't talk much about, but is interesting to know. So I hope everybody joins in and asks questions or make a comment if they want to. And it's going to be a very interesting discussion. So, bom dia, boa tarde para vocês que estão nos ouvindo em português. Um grande abraço. Hoje nós vamos falar sobre os anjos guardiões, que é um tema que não se conversa muito a respeito, mas é importante. E bem-vindos a todos. Thank you.
Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir Steven, bonsoir Silvia, bonsoir à tous. Hello, good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Again, happy to be here to talk about this subject that is showing us that we are never, 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 ever alone.
Yeah. Okay. So let me put here our video today. Share screen, window. Okay.
Through prayer, we are able to establish a connection with the guardian angels, our guides, our mentors, our protector spirits. Not just one, many who wish to see us succeed. Many who are waiting for us in the finish line saying, keep on going, keep fighting against your moral vices, keep going against your physical vices that still hold you back and hinders your step behind.
Very short video today. And I would say with a wonderful information for us. Instead of one guardian angels, we have many of them. So many of them. So we do have a problem now because we always thought that it's one. And Andrea just told us we do have many, but many helping us to succeed. That's the most important thing. We have many of our friends helping us to achieve our goals, to achieve our reincarnatory plan, but at the same time, they wait for our free will. They respect our free will. That's the most important thing, and this is what perhaps we're gonna talk more about today. It's not because you do have a guardian angel that you're gonna say, "Oh, okay, have days. They're gonna take care of me." No, you need to take care of him in terms of do whatever you need in order to deserve being assisted. Okay, so Charles, we can see in the Spirit's book, Kardec, he dedicate we cannot say chapter, but he dedicate a part of the Spirit's book to talk about the guardian angels, and this starts on question 489. And the question is, who are our guardian angels or mentors, or what how we can call them?
Indeed, Stevan, it's a good question. We have, since the birth, we have one spirit, which is good, which is more elevated than us, so in knowledge and also in goodness, spirit of a higher level than us, that has the particular responsibility of assisting us in our journey, reincarnation journey on the earth. Okay, so there is one which is dedicated and which is whose responsibility is to assist us. And since it's a lower, a spirit which is more elevated than us, basically he never fails. He's always here when it is needed, and he's in a kind of a permanent contact with us. Are we in a permanent contact with him? No, not really. It depends on us. If we make the efforts to get in synchrony with him, yes, we will get his advices by inspiration, the small voice of our conscience, the intuition. These are all these form of mediumship that everyone has, but we have to listen. Okay, we have to listen to him. Andrea told we have several protecting spirits. Indeed. For instance, my mother passed away 4 years ago, and she's also assisting me somehow. We have other familiar spirits or friends or whatever, which are also assisting us. But there is one which is more particularly dedicated to our guardian angel. So it's protecting spirit. I prefer the word protecting spirits, because angel does not exist. This we know. There is no, it's not a special creature. He has been created like us. So, but he has worked more for his evolution than us. Okay, so he is in a higher level of evolution than us. Why do we need protecting spirits? Because here on earth, there are, of course, protecting spirits, benefactors, which are here to help us, spirits from beloved ones, friends, family, or whatever. But we have also what we call the stimulating friends. In these stimulating friends, we have some which are incarnated, the people who are bothering us, testing our patience, putting pressure on us, trying to manipulate us. So as well as we have such stimulating friends in the corporeal world, we have them also in the spiritual world. Okay, so God does never leave us without assistance. We are influenced by, down, and on another hand, we are also influenced up. And at the end, as you told very clearly, Stevan, it's up to us, up to our free will, whether we listen to the one pushing us down or whether we listen to the one pushing us up. This depends on us. If we suppose we have only people pushing us down, of course, with the time we will end up being pushed down. But since it's equilibrated, depending on us, if we synchronize, for instance, with bad thoughts or with envy, jealousy, selfishness, pride, hatred, or whatever, if we synchronize with the ones pushing us down, of course, we will be pushed down. But always we will also have on the other side the good spirits, including the spirit, the guardian angel or the protecting spirit, and he will take care. Don't do that. Think about that. Don't you think it's better to to avoid this or to prefer that or whatever? That's another characteristic also from our benefactor. He leaves our free will, so we decide at the end. Guardian angel or protecting spirit will never say you shall do this or you shall do that or you shall not do this or you shall not do that. When you hear this, it's not coming from your protecting spirit. He never gives us orders. He just invites us to think to some aspects. He's advising us, smoothly, leaving us our free will, leaving us to take the decision, and leaving us, of course, also for the merit if we take the good decision. Let's say, for instance, you do something, write a book or try to do a project or something to disseminate spiritism or to do social assistance or whatever. Your guardian angel will not come with a project here already finished, turnkey, that you just have to go and to apply. No, we will have our part to define that project, listening to his advices. And so when the project is going well, the merit will be ours because we have done it. Let's take another example, the work of Allan Kardec writing those books. Of course, he had a lot of spirits, the spirits of truth or whoever, assisting him to make the job. But he worked from early morning to late in the evening or even early in the morning of the next day to write those 5 books, plus the Spiritist magazine, plus all what he did during these 12 years. So somehow, of course, a lot of information came from the Spirit to help him, but he had the job to organize all this in the way he prepared those books that we have today with containing the Spiritist body of knowledge. Okay, so that's basically what we have to retain. We are never, ever alone. Even when we are in the worst situation, most difficult, that are exactly the moments where our protecting spirit is present. He will never fail those important moments in our life. Okay, and this we have to know. When we are in despair, depressed, or whatever, there is always a spirit here trying to push us up again. It's only up to us to listen to him, to pay attention to his messages, and then to make the effort to try to fulfill as best as we can and to do the advices he is giving us. And that's the key also for, how to say, make the best use of our life for our evolution.
Good. Good. Well, this is an interesting point you mentioned, Charles, because we go to sorry, to question 900 and 495 from Ms. Gibbons, because let's say a guardian angel or a mentor all the time are trying to give us good advice, good vibrations. As you said, Charles, they are a little bit more evolved in terms of goodness compared compared to ourselves. But if we don't listen them, if we don't all the time they are saying go left when you right, uh, uh, they rebel against us. They say, okay, it's your life, do whatever I want you to do. How it works, my dear Gibbons?
Well, I think it's very important to realize that even maybe before we are born, a spirit of a higher level than we are, and can be maybe an old friend, even someone that we knew in before, who has advanced maybe further than we have, they will take the responsibility to help us and to guide us in our lives, and they will be with us throughout our lives. And of course, we have other spirits as well that will help and support us in some things that we are doing. But that guardian angel that we call guardian angel is every spirit that is more or less responsible to take care of us. Now, I think Charles made the point that we are free, we have free will to listen to the advice or not of the spirits. And of course, they will constantly let us know in many ways how we should proceed, what we should do. They will guide us, but they will not force us. And in a situation, and when the person will definitely, in many ways, be quite rebellious or whatever, pride or whatever it is that motivates a person not to listen to the guardian angel, they will draw. They will just stand back and let you get on with it. Because I think that's one of the things that it's very important to realize, because whereas good spirits, they will give you guidance, they will help you, they'll support you, they'll give you ideas, all sorts of things. But if you don't listen to them, they will not, they withdraw, as I said, they move away, and they don't go away, they don't abandon you, but they will move back and let you do it. And that's the difference, because the spirits who wants to harm us, and we have actually one thing that we really to understand and realize is, and Charles mentioned it, that we are never alone. And it's not only because we have a guardian angel, but because we are surrounded by spirit. I think it's Peter, as the apostle Peter said, we are surrounded, or Paul, I'm not quite sure now, who says we are surrounded by a multitude of witnesses.
Yes.
We have lots and lots of spirits. Paul, wasn't it? Paul the apostle. And that's true. But we have that one who guides us. And, they will let us do whatever we want to do. But if a spirit that may be of a lower degree, that don't like us very much, or they want us to do something wrong, they will impose on us. They will force on us. And I think that's the difference. The good spirits will help you as much as you allow them to. But the ones who are not so good, they will actually influence us in a very, very negative way. And, to a point that, as Kardec said, we almost do whatever they want us to do. And that's very, very important for us to be aware of that, to listen. And sometimes I suppose all of us have had this at one time or another in our lives, the experience that you're debating something. Shall I do this or shall I do that? And we have this debate in our head, isn't it? It's like you are sitting there and everybody, there are two people talking, saying, oh, you do that, don't do that, say this, do that. And but ultimately, the decision is ours, either to accept their counsel and their advice, or follow what we want to do. And I think I said this before, that I had this experience, a personal experience of once coming out of a house of a friend of mine, and follow, there are two different roads that I could take. And I normally take one that I find it easier to get to the bus, and never had any problem. I mean, it's quite dark, and, it was a bit late. And I often walk that way with no problem. But that day, as soon as I came out of the door, it's almost like I heard someone saying, take the other road today. And I ignored it. I said, "Ooh." And I did this like this. I said, I wanted to swipe the idea off my head. Um, and I walked past the road I should have turned. And then I heard this voice that said to me in no uncertain terms, really sharp, and take the other road. And I said, oh, okay. So I walked back because I had already passed it, and I went on the road that was more people, lots of cars and all that kind of thing. And I think I am absolutely certain that my guardian angel was guiding me, was with me then, because I have many times since that time um, gone into my friend's house, leave, and go walk in the small little corner road, and no problem at all. I never heard that again. So I'm certainly certain that that day they were protecting me. And when I was a bit stubborn, not, really listen to it, they said to very sharply, take the other road. And I did. And I'm sure that I was protected that day, because I could have, fallen into harm. So I think, in a way, many of us have had this experience at one time or other in our lives. And in a way, it's a certainty that we have someone protecting us, we have someone going with us, and that God is there through, our guardian angels, those spirits that support us, to make our life a little easier, and to give some perspective as well, because the spirits, they they love us. They care for us. They want our best. And I think sometimes we really need to listen to them more, be more aware that they are there, that they exist. And so many times, I have so many times that in situations, difficult problems that I didn't know how to solve, and I thought, oh God. And then I heard the answer and I did it. And I said, how did I not think about this before? The solution. So I personally, I have had so many experiences in my own life to be sure that I have a guardian angel, that it takes care of me and works really hard sometimes to be, my friend. So now I have learned to have some humility when I'm listening to this idea, and it's quite insistent. I listen to it now. And I think that, they don't move away. They just go back and wait for us to call them, because I think that's one thing that's important as well. Even if they moved away because we did whatever we want to do, because we have free will, we can choose. And of course, sometimes when we go against their device, we get into trouble. But if we call them, they will be back. And that, that is good, that even when we make a mistake or not listening to their advice, they always come back when we call them. But by then we're in serious trouble usually. But it's so reassuring. I find extremely reassuring that there is someone there watching over me.
That's a
So
good part. We always have someone watching over us. That's the good thing. And allow me to read, because in question 495, the last paragraph, Kardec wrote, Kardec, no, this is not Kardec, that the spirits said to Kardec, they are there out of love for him, fulfilling a beautiful, arduous mission along with you. Yes, wherever you may be, they will be there with you, in a prison or in a hospital, in dissipation or in solitude. Nothing separates you from that friend whom you cannot see, but from whom your soul receives the most loving inspirations and hears the wisest advice. Simple like that. Like Charles, you got a device when you have your scooter accident. You hear the voice telling
Yes.
put the helmet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This happens from time to time, you know. I had a electric scooter, huh? And very practical for small journeys. And one day it was cold. Huh? I wanted to take it to make to go to 1 kilometer or whatsoever. And so it was cold that day, and I had a wool, how to say, bonnet, huh? And I thought, oh, if I want to put the helmet, I have to tear the wool bonnet, so I will feel free. Huh? And clearly, it came in my mind, no, please use the helmet because it's safer to use the helmet. Voilà. So I used the helmet, and what happened is just a small step, you know. I hit a small step, and boom, fall over the scooter down, and I broke my this bone here, huh, the radius. And then I was thinking, wow, I had the helmet. When I looked to the helmet, it was completely, how to say, scratched on the side. I was imagining what my head would look like if I would not have worn the helmet. So this typically for me, it's at those moments, you know, they come, and of course you have to listen. If you don't listen, you don't put the helmet, and you have some more serious injuries, you know. But with the time, we get used to listen, huh? And then you know, huh? So no, it's no, put the helmet, please. Okay, I will put the helmet. I don't discuss, you know. Even if it's a little bit colder, it's safer, and that's it. And you know, my protecting spirits, I don't know his name. I don't know his name. He can be John or Peter or Charles or
Whatever.
whatever, huh? We don't care, we don't know, huh? Call him like you want, because a lot of people, they say, no, I'm not sure I have one because I don't know his name. I want to know first his name. This is no, forget it, huh? Some maybe he had no incarnation on earth since a long time, so he has no name, huh? But he's here, he or she, of course, huh, is here to protect you, huh? And I mean, this story of the helmet was one, and I had another one as well, when a couple of years before, huh? Clearly it came in my mind, go and see your doctor and ask him for that and that analysis, blood analysis. And I was saying, what the hell is this? I didn't know even PSA what it means. And when I look on internet, oh, I understood early that this could be something serious. And I went to my doctor a couple of months later and said, could you do this analysis for me? He asked me, oh, why? Huh? Do you have these symptoms? No. Do you have that symptom? Also
Yeah.
not. So why do you ask for this? And the answer came immediately, you know, because my father had this illness and my grandfather had also this illness. And okay, tak, tak, tak. And this was also, how to say, early enough detecting some serious health problem with me that could be fixed. And after the surgery, the surgeon made the analysis of the problem, and he said a couple of months more, and it would have been much more complicated. You know, another example, when you look backwards, how these things happened, why came to me, clearly it's a message from the spiritual mentor. So, you know, don't expect a long message with the full details or whatever. Generally, the mentor is communicating with you. When he gives a message, it's 2 line, you know, very short, but straight to the point. Straight to the point. And that is how you recognize a spiritual mentor. And also always giving advice, never giving orders. You shall. No, no. He always huge love for us. Huh? You know, when you look to the EMI experiences, huh? The ND, sorry, near death experiences. Huh? All the experiencers are saying, "Oh, I'm seeing a spirit so full of light. This light is not how to say is a soft light, very good and infinite love, unconditional love. You know." And then sometimes they may I saw Jesus or I saw whatever, and most of the time they saw simply their spiritual mentor who was there and say, okay, you see, that's a trial in your life. Huh? Now you are here, huh? But the program we had agreed before you reincarnate is you have to go back and to continue the journey, huh? After this experience in different conditions, whatever. Huh? And that's also our mentor, which is here to make such that what we programmed for our life is happening. And this is just executing what we each of us, made as choices before our incarnation.
Yeah, great. It is. It is so important to keep our eyes open for those advices. And again, those advices may come for good, may come for not good. If it all depends how you are tuning yourself. If you are tuning yourself in high spheres, all the devices are good devices. But if you're tuning in a lower spheres, then don't complain. So always the key thing is ourselves. The main thing is us. Uh, so we are broadcasting to Japan today. Adalberto is with us. Good evening, good morning for you, Adalberto. Carolina Grott, very interesting topic. It's so comforting to know we are never alone. Lou VM, good to see you, Lou. Maurice Alulu, hallelujah. Our dear friend Vanessa Celoni. Thank God guardian angel exist. Yes, they do exist. And Charles, and my dear Silvia, Charles mentioned the message from our protectors. It's like very short. Usually, is very short, but very often go straight to the point. And I just mentioned we are as you said, Paul said we are surrounded by witnesses. I said we do have good advices and also bad advice. How to tune myself into the right direction.
Well, this is a kind of difficult question to answer because I don't know how it is with other people, but for me, for instance, if I'm having a situation or something, it's just the thoughts come to me, and then if there is a different thought coming, I sort of weigh them because as you said, they just say this or that, and it's very straight to the point. So it's up to us. We have the free will to choose to follow that or not. And I think we somehow inherently we know whether something is not good, if what we want to do maybe is not good, is not healthy, you know, sometimes the choice to follow whatever we are listening to, it's our own. And I think Charles mentioned something about we take responsibility, and I think that's one of the important things. We have to take responsibility because our guardian angels, they love us, they are completely connected to us. They have taken the responsibility to watch over us during a whole of our incarnation. So they are friends indeed, as they say. A friend in need's a friend indeed. It's a very old English expression. But they are there for us. So they will never, ever give us an advice that in any way would guide us towards doing something wrong, or doing something that can harm others or can harm ourselves. So I think if there is something that's not quite what you would expect, a good friend, a good advice that a friend would give you, then it's the other one, you know. And it's up to us to which one do we listen to. I don't know what you think, Charles.
Exactly, Silvia. And you told that according to the question, how much was it?
495, isn't it? That
495, yes.
we read from. Yes.
That when we don't listen to our guardian angel, he is stepping back. My opinion is it comes up to the same at the end. He is not stepping back. He's always here with us. We are taking distance from him, you know. So
Yes.
we are, when we are lowering our thoughts and whatever, of course, the gap
Yeah.
between us and him is increasing. So the contact is more difficult, you know. But
Yeah.
as soon as we make the effort to rise again our thoughts and our will, our intentions, the use of our free will, we come closer to him, and then we enter in this beneficial circle, you know. Everything in the spiritual world is about law of affinity, you know. When we do a prayer, for instance, because there are prayer for the guardian angel, there are some examples in the Gospel according to the Spiritism, section 20, chapter 28, the subsection 2, item number 11, where uh, there are prayers for our spiritual mentor. And what is happening when we do this prayer is exactly this. We rise our thoughts and come closer to him, and then we put us in a situation where we get more benefit. We manage to how to say, to understand better what he's suggesting us, you know. So very important is also this effort to do on our side, because he cannot progress on our behalf. Only we can
Oh,
progress. He can just
absolutely.
advise us, help us, maybe alleviate us when we are in huge pain or whatever, but we have to progress. He cannot rise on this progression on our behalf. And by the way, he and no one can progress on behalf of someone else. No one can forgive on behalf of someone else. Only the person itself is able to do that. And that's also very important to know. He's here to help us always, 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 but we have to do our part. Always, always, always.
Wonderful that. I love this part. Um,
Because that's the important thing, isn't it? To know that we are the ones who, in a way, abandon our guardian angels because we ignore them. That's a very important thing to remember, that we move away, you know, from our guardian angel and even from God. And because it's interesting, so sometimes people, when they have faith and everything, but if something goes wrong or doesn't go in accordance with what they want, they will say, oh, God doesn't like me, God has abandoned me. And how many times we have been the ones who have abandoned God, and that's something to think about, that they are there always. Because I suppose, in a way, even a friend, even a friend who is incarnated, if they give us an advice, because we talk to them about a problem or whatever, and they will give an advice, and we constantly do something else. We ask, what do you think? And they go on, they analyze, they go deep, and they ask you things, and they tell you, maybe if you do this or that. And if we never ever listen to their advice, they also move away. They stop giving the advice, and it's not that they've gone away, but if you don't listen to them, there is no need to. You have to face your own things. And as you said, we are the ones who are responsible for our lives ultimately, because when time comes, I think, as they say, when the hour of the wolf comes, and it comes to all of us, we have to answer for ourselves. No one can answer for us. We'll be the ones who have to give, to say what we've done and where we are, because we are responsible. Because I think you said something today as well, Charles, that, if we do something good, we have the merit of it because we did it ourselves, isn't it? And this is very important.
Yeah. And also, it's important to mention, when we talk to our guardian angel, the first question you ask, what's your name? And usually they don't give the name. Just they give a name to us which inspire us confidence, comfort. You know. Also, we can say on question 506, upon returning to the spiritual world, do we recognize our spiritual guide? Do you think your spiritual guide will be there waiting for you with a hammer in his hand, to waiting you to come up to beat you? You say, I told you, don't do it. You did it. You know, how how do you think your guardian is going to be waiting for you, my dear Silvia?
I think the answer, you will recognize, because before we were born, this spirit had already dedicated himself or stuff to help us, to be a guardian angel. So we
Yeah.
probably knew them already. I suppose, in a way, they will be there, I'm sure, at the moment of our discarnation, when, the process of cleansing the vital principle and everything, and we're returning to the spiritual world. I'm sure there'll be one of the people who'll be there waiting for us. And I think it will be for us to, if we're ashamed or feeling uncomfortable, if we didn't follow something that, maybe we had some advice and things. Because I find as well, I don't know how you two also, and the people who may be listening to us today, how sometimes you have an idea to do something and something happens that stops you, and out of the blue, somebody calls, something happened, but you have that idea that you're going to do it, and then you try to do this again, and something else happens to stop it. And I think sometimes I've done something once, and then I thought I was being told not to do what I wanted because that was not the right thing to do. I was totally aware but after, because twice something happened that I couldn't do the thing I wanted at the time, and I thought, oh, later on. I said, if you try to do something doesn't happen, something else happens, and it's stopping you to go on, stop and don't do it. I think that's my advice, really, because it's normally your guardian angel who's trying to tell you, don't proceed, because this is going to bring you unpleasantness, unhappiness, or even feelings of guilt or something. I, I think the help that we have from my guardian angel is so subtle, is so involving. If we could only just stop, and I think that's why it's important, maybe to do a meditation. When we have something to decide, something to do, maybe just sit and be there and say, please, what do you think about this? Because sometimes I do this now. What do you think there? Shall I go on? No. If I feel uncomfortable, I won't do it anymore. I've learned that so far, because the help is always there, surrounding us, with us. It's just reaching out and say, please. And then they will give you because it's very subtle, but it's very, at the same time, you feel it. The presence is very, very strong. I find personally.
Yeah. And on question 514, now it's Kardec, not the spirits. Kardec kind of summarized the degrees of protection and affinities. He says we do have the spirit's protector, which is the one whose mission is to follow each man through the course of his life and to aid him to progress. We do have familiar spirits, which are people through bone, but certain people with bonds of varying duration to help them within the limits of their power, often rather limited. They are good spirits, but sometimes scarcely advanced and even little frivolous. We also have the like-minded spirits, are those whom we attract to particular affections and certain similarity in tastes and feelings, both in good and in evil. And the last one is an evil spirit, is an imperfect and maleficent spirit who may attach himself to an individual to divert him from the road of virtue, but in doing so he acts of his own accord and not in virtue of a mission. So the main difference between good, let's say, good spirits who protect you and not good spirits who try to deceive you, it's because one has a mission, the other is just looking for visions, for past debts in which you need to pay. But the others, they do have a mission, and the mission is to allow you to progress, to make you to evolve, to make you to always give a step forward instead of being stagnated in the same position for many incarnations without changing your mindset, without changing your way to see the world. And meanwhile, life passed by and you are stuck in the same point, waiting for a miracle. Okay, Charles, do you have your last comments?
Yes, there is also, how to say, when we discuss in the spiritist movement about mediumistic meeting, for instance, it's always said we should not call a given spirit to come to the meeting. Evocation, typically. We should call the assistance of the good spirits in order the meeting is going well, and they are somehow deciding which spirit will come to communicate or to be assisted or whatever. So Chico Xavier told the phone call is done from the spiritual world to us and not from us to the spiritual world. But there is an exception to this. Our spirit, our mentor, our protecting spirits, it is his duty to be called. So this one, yes, we should always call. And when we do a prayer for him, somehow we call him already, So because again, it is his duty, his mission, and he will not fail. Some other people, they say, I had in my life this or that problem. Probably my mentor was asleep or busy somewhere else, and because of the lack of care, I fall down, or this or that accident happened to me. This is also an erroneous concept, because spirit at that level of evolution, they never fail. He is always here when it is needed. The contact is somehow permanent. They are not, how to say, busy on something else or what. This is not. It's just an excuse, because in fact, when something happened to us, it is exactly because we probably were warned by him to take care, but we did not listen. And then we told, yeah, he was not here at the moment I was needing him. That's absolutely also a wrong thought or a wrong concept, because those spirits, we see also sometimes people, oh, my guardian angel is of level I don't so and so much, it's an archangel or whatever. Who are we in our current level of evolution with our littleness to rank those spirits who are more elevated than us? It's also a kind of a pretension, something just to satisfy our ego or whatever. He is at the right position of level of evolution, and if he has this mission to assist us, because he is the most indicated to do that for us in our current evolution level. So all these things we have to be aware, and as soon as we are aware and we don't speculate or we don't ask for more or impossible or things which are not for us. Also, sometimes we ask something to our mentor, he will not give it to us. Like when we do a prayer, oh, please, I want to be cured from this illness and so on. And at the end, we don't cure from the illness. So we are deceived. My prayer does not work. The spirits are not helping me. This is also a wrong way for seeing the things. If we are ill and we cannot cure in spite of all the effort we are doing, is because this illness is the best for our own evolution. And I always take the same example. Someone had a cancer, and he was quite young, and the cancer, he made everything he could to treat the cancer and whatever. And at the end, he died from the cancer. And when he arrived to the spiritual world, a little bit with deception, he was received by his spiritual mentor, who said, you see, your cancer cured you. Because what is essential in us is the soul, is not the physical body.
Perfect. This before I give you room to talk, my dear. On question 518, the spirits said, spirits go preferably to places where there are like-minded people, where they can be more at ease and are more likely to be heard. Man attracts spirits because of his tendencies, whether as an individual or as a collective unity, a society, a city, or a nation. So, in other words, a nation it's undergoing, they are needed according to their merits and according to their needs. So, my dear Gibbons, what your conclusion?
Um, I see this, but if you in question 519 as well, they ask if the agglomeration, individuals, societies, nations, cities, if they have special guardian spirits, and they do. Is interesting because not only we as individuals have a guardian angel, but cities and societies, and it's very clear to see if you organize a society or something for the benefit of others, you will always find the help. You always be sure that there is, incentive. They, come people who will be able to help you. So we can see that, in so many times there is terrible situations, but some people are taken care of, and so there are guardian angels for our cities, for whatever we're doing, for clubs, for organizations, that if we have goodwill, then the good spirits will help us. And this is very reassuring to know, because sometimes I remember a few years back, it was terrible shock, because just follow a day of great joy. We had lots of bombs in the buses and the tubes and all sorts of, many, many people died going to work in the morning. And it was interesting, at least I can remember at least two cases of a lady who saw on the telly what had happened, and was the time that her daughter usually used to go to work. So she thought she's in the tube. She probably is dead. And she tried to call her and call her. And then eventually the daughter, and she couldn't get an answer. Eventually the daughter actually answered the phone and said, and she said, "Are you all right?" And she said, "Oh, I overslept. I got up, but I felt so tired that I had to go back to bed." And had she gone out to work, she would be in the tube at that time. And, I know someone, actually, was someone I knew. She was in a bus, and, she saw on the bus was coming. She was going to take the bus because she was late. And then she felt this, no, I don't want to take this bus. And the bus just moved away from her, from the bus stop, and there was a bomb, and all the people who were sitting there were killed. So, you have so many things like that happen. So you can see there is a protection for the people and for the city. And, I don't know what those who were there had to go through it. But I think we have this protection, and I think Vanessa wrote, "Thank God guardian angels exist." And I second that, because I am so glad that they are there. And I myself have had so many situations in my life that I was advised, I was helped, I was guided. And I'm here, I'm happy, and I know I had the help, because things could have been really bad, or even died, really. But so I think it's very reassuring. And even people who don't believe in guardian angels, they have them. So that's something.
Yeah, yes, yeah. It's good. We have then tough job. They have. My one has a tough job,
You have no idea of mine, especially when I was a kid. Oh my goodness, when I was a child, I used to do
Uh,
such a crazy thing. Thank God, my guardian angel.
my one's waiting for me with a hammer in his hands. When I met him, I said, "I told you."
Yes. And that's why I pray for my guardian angel. I do. I think Charles was saying something about praying for the guardian angel. I always do. Thank you. Be with me, please. Don't let me go with my own head anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so times for announcement. Next week we will talk about, is there a law of progress that guides humanity and we are progressing or regressing? It's a long topic, but I hope 1 hour is enough to talk about it.
We can always make into 2 days, different days.
Yeah, if you need. So please, guys, share the word, spread the word. 3rd of April, 9 p.m. Ireland time, 10 p.m. France time, 4 p.m. US time. Okay, so next, our Spiritism Acts 2024 is on the way. Is on the 29th and 3rd of June in Oxford. We will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 11 speakers and different topics, 2 days. If you need more information, go to Kardec, www.kardecgroup.org.uk. So they give you more details. That's the second day. We will have the movie No Solar 2, also No Solar 1, and another move from Chico. Series of Camille from Marion. The next one is our dear Watanabe.
Yeah.
So hope everyone enjoy his talk this upcoming Sunday. Don't forget our Spiritism magazine. It's free. Just go to spiritismmagazine.org and keep listening Kardec Radio wherever you are. We will always be with you, my friends. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your patience. And I hope you guys have a nice evening, my friends. Thank you for your support and your good comments. Thank you so much.
God bless.
Thank you. Goodbye. And have a blessed Easter, everyone, because it's coming. Good Friday, day of prayers for this peace of our world. So remember the sacrifice that Jesus made for us. And, let's unite ourselves to pray for peace for our planet. And so have a good week and many blessings. God bless.
Less chocolate, more prayer. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.